It's a crazy kind of day here in Coorg. It's rainy and misty. In some ways, might be the perfect day to sample this, Volvo's V90 Cross Country, because this too is going to create a lot of emotional turmoil in the hearts of Indian car buyers. Because, as you can see, it's an estate and we Indians look down on estates. But it's also part SUV and we look up to SUVs. And of course, we yearn for luxury cars. And this most definitely is. Sounds complicated? Volvo simplifies it all by saying that this offers the best of their S90 sedan and their XC90. So, can the V90 really live up to that tall order? We've got a little bit of time with it here today to find out.
There is absolutely no doubt that it looks long and low, like any estate, but it has got its SUV traits in place.
210 millimeters of ground clearance, which is 60 mm more than its sibling the S90. It's a little bit lesser than the XC90, but we can't hold that against it.
And when it comes to go anywhere ability, the V90 Cross Country isn't pretending.
No, this isn't just a hopped up estate. It's got proper all-wheel drive hardware as well, shared with the XC90.
So, if you show it some slippery stuff, it can clamber, because it can send as much as 65% of the torque to the rear axle.
Now we went up this small little hill. It was grassy, wet, murky. And we got up there and we were expecting some other cars to join us. But we realized it stopped at the bottom of the hill. And it turned out they couldn't make it up because it was too slippery. Basically, the V90 Cross Country, whatever little bit we did off-road, made it look quite easy.
So, for most of you out there, it's SUV enough. But there is one thing that could prick this rugged estate's party.
Now, Volvo's made it a habit of absolutely loading their cars to the gills, and it's starting right from the outside. You get 20-inch wheels as standard. These are 245 by 45 section Pirellis. These are specially developed. They have softer rubber and rounded shoulders to help with the off-road environment. But I can't help but think, would slightly smaller wheels have been better? Of course, there's adjustable air suspension, but it's only on the rear axle, unlike the XC90 where it is on all four corners.
On the whole, the V90 Cross Country just glides over bad stuff. For on-road fun, the Volvo might be a bit on the back foot as it is focused on comfort. But the various driver modes allow you to adapt the suspension and the experience a little bit.
You can hustle the V90 Cross Country through corners, but is it a telepathic experience? No, not quite, because the steering, although it weighs up in dynamic mode, it doesn't really communicate much of what's happening at the front wheels. And that aside, when you chuck it into a corner, at first it won't turn in as much as you expect, but then the all-wheel drive sorts it out for you, sends more power to the rear wheels, gets you turned in nicely, you're hooked into the tarmac, and you whiz through. It feels very confident. It also makes the car a lot easier to drive in varying conditions.
This Volvo may not be exciting, but it is a really pleasing car to drive. The 2-liter diesel engine has enough power, and the 480 Nm of torque is readily available.
The D5 engines now come with power pulse technology, and I love tech like this because it's using compressed air to make the turbo spin up faster at low RPMs and basically improve drivability. And I can tell you that it works, because you've got torque coming in nice even under 1500 RPM, and you could spend the entire day between 1500 and 2000 RPM ambling along, cruising on the highway, and not feel the need to rev up any higher.
So it is a very easy machine to spend time behind the wheel of. But
now this isn't a deal breaker for us, but it's something that we did notice. This 8-speed gearbox, It's actually quite quick and efficient to upshift, but when it comes to downshifts, especially when it needs to shift down suddenly, you'll find that it ends up stuttering a bit, gives a little bit of a jerk before actually making that downshift and getting you going.
Despite that, it will make for a great city commuter or a highway machine. And this being a Volvo, there's some added peace of mind included.
Now, Volvo was the first car manufacturer in India to offer radar-based safety systems, and that's because the frequency that their system works on, well, the government freed that up for use for non-military purposes. And there you have now the radar system here even on the V90 Cross Country. What does it mean for you? Well, in city conditions, this can sense if you're headed for a collision, and if you haven't braked, the system will do the braking for you as well.
So the V90 Cross Country is offering a tempting blend of a sedan and SUV from Volvo. But as an SUV, it misses out in one area.
So does this feel like you're sitting inside an SUV? Not quite, because, in an SUV you would sit a bit higher up, and the overall feel in an SUV is more open because it is more square in terms of its design. For instance, you can see the A-pillar here, it's plenty raked. And that's what makes this feel more swoopy, a bit more cozy in that sense.
And as a backseat focused sedan, it could do better.
Now this backseat, clearly it's got plenty of knee room here, and because the V90 Cross Country has a more upright roofline, you also have more headroom here, which is nice. But what it could do with a little bit more of is under-thigh support. If you're going to spend a lot of time here in the back, and if you're tall, you will feel that. Also, the passenger sitting in the middle, he's not going to want to do long distances for sure. One thing, there's that transmission tunnel here, and you do end up sitting higher up here. And that means you get less under-thigh support.
And as an estate, the boot has 60 litres more to offer than the S90, which surely isn't wow, but it'll do.
The boot is nice, wide and deep as well, so storing a lot of luggage here should be pretty easy. And I got to show you this, sitting underneath here is a space saver as well. So good to have that little bit of a safety net with you when you are on the long road away from home. And you also have motorized fold down for the second row of seats just by press of the button here.
Other than that, there really isn't much to complain about.
This car is loaded. You can look at the spec sheet if you don't believe me, but what you have to check out for sure when you do are these features. For instance, the seats, very well cushioned, and on top of that, nicely motorized. The seat also extends forward the seat base to give you extra support. You have lumbar, you have the side bolstering that can be adjusted, and on top of that, there's the massage function, which the S90 doesn't. And in this, it is just spectacular. I will vouch for that twice over. And then there is the music system. 19 speakers, awesome. Bowers & Wilkins, awesome. But the net effect is the sound quality. It is like you're sitting in the front row, just where the band is performing. You can hear all the sounds coming at you from different directions. It is well and truly immersive.
So the V90 Cross Country is a special machine. But who shouldn't buy one? Well, if you intend to spend most of your time in the backseat, or if you want outright presence, then this Volvo will fall a bit short. So the people who should buy the V90 Cross Country might be in a minority. But for them, the way the V90 Cross Country brings together a sense of adventure, practicality, serious luxury levels, thoughtful safety features, and all of it tucked into a modest but handsome form makes it a very tempting package. This is also dished out at a reasonable price point. All in all, it is a delightfully different machine, and it will spark a fire in a remote part of your head that no other car has probably ever reached.